The Tangent Egg podcast is aimed at a mature audience. It contains themes that are not appropriate for all listeners. It's important to note that we are not experts. We routinely have no idea what we're talking about and are just three idiots sitting around a table. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Tangent Egg podcast. I'm Seth, and as always with me is Swoosh and John Doe.
Hello!
Hello!
And this week we're starting out with, in this particular instance, it's Sony, but by greater extension, FIFA, its game franchise stuff, get slapped.
I'm all for FIFA getting slapped.
Yeah, Ultimate Team is a fucking scam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like most of FIFA is a scam.
I mean, yeah, the thing's basically, we're going to charge you a full price for a fucking roster update. It's not even a good amount of game.
I don't think there is a change to the game. It's literally just the same thing. But now we have a different dude, maybe. We changed this one guy's jersey. It's purple now.
I don't know if it happened in FIFA, but I do know that in NFL, there was I think it was between 2020 and 2021. There was that they did the whole game, they put it out, and when you went into the yard where you got to train with all your football players, it still said 2020 on all of the coolers instead of 2021. They had gone through so little effort, they couldn't even update a texture.
Wow. Shit.
Wow. Fuck me. That's a new level of fucking stupid from them. We always joke it's the same game with a different number slapped onto it, but now they've proved it.
No one fucking play tested that game. Otherwise, everyone would have got, oh my god, unless they did and they all seemed to go, you know what, let's not say shit. Like, let's just let this fucking thing go through.
Yeah. Given the way the games industry, treats QAs, I would not be surprised. Fuck it, leave them.
This whole thing, they could have a seasonal update of fucking player rosters for a minor DLC. They don't have to release a new fucking game every year. But it's because that fucking ultimate thing where it's literally fucking loot boxes. It's straight out fucking gambling. That's what the chase is.
So, for whoever lived under a rock and was able to miss this, basically FIFA's big thing is its Ultimate Team mode, which you essentially have to open up random packs to get random chances at getting star players and good players and players.
Think of MTG cards.
So you can beat all the other people in the online mode. Yeah, but scummier.
Surprisingly.
So the Ultimate Team mode is the biggest earner. It makes insane money. It is frankly disgusting how much money they make off this stuff. The a court in Austria has decreed this as gambling and has awarded what is it?
A large sum of money.
Fudge. Where's the actual payback?
I'm looking at.
It's also back
so
then.
I think it's $425 to $360 per person included in this, and it's a large chunk of change. There's a lot of people involved because they deemed it to be marketed as gambling towards children.
Oh yeah.
Several players took Sony to court in 2020.
Yeah. Very clearly is.
So, yeah.
And they're finally getting their payout.
They're finally getting their payout, and...
So, awesome.
Fucking oath.
Well, the good thing is, this is coming from one of the EU countries that are, higher up. They're close to the guys who run everything for it. So, if they've gone, fuck this is gambling, a lot of the EU will follow suit and say, fuck you, this is gambling. Yeah. And if they get hit by a few more of these orders from different countries, then this could actively fuck them. And I really want that to happen.
Well,
because I would find that so funny.
More and more countries have already been stepping away from the loot boxes.
Loot boxes is gambling. Yeah, they have. Because there was a big thing where loot boxes were starting to be classified as gambling, but there had been no payback done. as far as I'm aware, this is the first time that there's been a payback.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen
based
it
on
anyway.
the loot boxes as gambling to mine it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
everything else was very much like pay a fine
Yeah.
or do some other stuff. Whereas now it's like, you
Yeah.
know what? Fuck it. Pay the people you scammed. And I'm all for that. Like,
I am
that'd be
sort
great.
of worried in this though, in that
Hell, if we just get that
I'm sort
on
of worried
Australia.
that since a lot of companies may step away from your random chance loot boxes, they may step more and more towards unique currencies for unique purchases. So to diffuse your money out further, so they can continue it coming in.
Direct
So
microtransactions.
a little more Diablo Immortal. But
Yeah.
I'm all for fucking off loot boxes. You should be able to see exactly what you're going to buy
Unfortunately.
when you outlay your cash. But yeah, I'm hoping you don't have to,
Yeah.
Yep.
like, in the next iteration of the FIFA scam, all right, I specifically want a Manchester player, so I don't have to buy Manchester credits. Or if I want these fucking players, like, specific team fucking credits, that would piss me off even fucking more.
Oh, fuck.
That's the
no,
dystopian
no.
future
I
I'm
can
worried
definitely
about.
see FIFA doing that, though. No, I can definitely see
didn't
that
think of
kind
that.
of dystopian future from them. Like,
That's-
holy shit.
No, the dystopian
If
future
they
they
do
do would be Manchester currency for a Manchester
Yeah,
pack.
and then, yeah.
Now, if we,
So it's
if
still
they
a
want to be
rand,
really
But
scummy,
you have to use
Oh,
team-specific currencies to
team-specific
get it.
currencies, and
That's
then you
what they
can buy...
do. Fuck.
Then you
I
can
believe
buy
that
a pack
already.
for a specific year, and you're chasing certain players from certain years. Because if a certain players had a good year and then a shit year,
No,
with certain stats.
they won't do that because they need you to buy the new one with the roster update. If they did that,
but then
you get
they
all
could
the
do
older
Ultimate
roster.
Team Classic, where they could have like
What they'll do.
a certain bracket of
sure.
teams from a certain period of time, and then this period of time, and then this period of time, and you could make your ultimate team from the history of players.
They would do that. I can see them doing it. But the worst one I can imagine them doing is they will change the cost variable for a player determinable by their stats
Oh, yeah.
currently. So imagine if a player who was no-named for a while, and it's like, oh, you could grab him for like 20 cents. And then suddenly, massive rise in his career. And suddenly it's like, oh, $20 maybe. I can
the
see them
crypto
doing
bros
that.
would be all over it.
Oh, they'd fucking love it. Then you'd have someone guaranteeing harassing these guys in the street trying to break like one of their knees or something.
Those absolutely love it. Especially
getting my
since
discount.
next year the whole thing's irrelevant because they released a new version.
Yeah.
So
But they get to
God,
like
crypto
speculate
bros.
on like, is this upcoming player going to go big? Can I get his packs cheap right now?
the only way they could like
And there'll be someone out there who'll
fuck
just...
with it is to make it so once you've purchased a character, you can no longer trade that character.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise, like if
Yeah, no, they would not
if they disable
ban
it,
all.
it removes external marketplaces. That means they can keep. Then the price would have to remain steady because everyone's buying the same product for the same thing.
Actually, that reminds me. Do you remember the weird like black market that popped up from Team
hats.
Fortress 2 with like the different
The same
hats you
market
could
as
buy?
there for
Oh, yeah.
CS:GO skins.
Yeah. The weird thing was like some of those hats.
There's still plenty of
Like
off-site
if it
markets
exists,
for
there's
those
a
things.
market for it. If there's a trading system. Oh yeah. But the weird thing is, like, gamers will make a market for it. I think that's where MMOs did the right thing by having auction houses kind of make their own economy in the end. Like, because players will fucking do it. If you don't do it there, they'll find a way.
It's actually one of the big questions right now. There's some leaks going around that they might be getting ready to launch Counter-Strike 2. And a lot of people are like, what's going to happen to your skin economy after that? If you do it, is it a... Like, you know how like you had CS and then you had CSGO, which was just a wholesale update? Is this CS2 going to be a wholesale update or a new product?
But it's a new product,
if it is,
and it means everything
the
is
skins come
worthless. Because it's only worth what someone's going to pay for it.
Yeah,
If they don't
I
pay
really
for it,
hope
it's
it
worthless.
is. We are sustained by salt,
yeah.
and I would love the salt that would come from the tears of those gamer boys. Like, CSGO players are some of the most toxic ones I've found, second only to Overwatch players.
League of Legends.
Oh, they're not considered human, we don't count them. They are salt elementals at this point. They have, like, evolved past humanity. You can mine them.
I remember back, like, ages and ages, years ago, a friend of mine wanted me to get in and play League of Legends with him. Like, okay, fine, fuck it. I've got nothing. Oh, this is back when I was unemployed. So I was like, fuck it, sure, I'll give it a go. I got all the time in the world to play it and get a little good at it and have some fun. While I'm trying to learn any character, just yelled at continually. It's like, I'm trying to learn here, guys. I'm in a bot match. There's just 5 humans against bots. I'm playing and trying to figure everything out. Just fucking stop.
And they're like, you're feeding! It's like, what the fuck is feeding? I don't know what's happening. Like, I swear,
I don't know this character yet how to stop this happening. Can someone give me some instruction? What about some help?
Yeah. No, unless you have dedicated friends who are willing to, like, play games with you in there, you're in the Wild West at that point. It's like, fuck, who knows? And we all know, like, pugging for a game is shit, because you never get good pugs. And I get
one
that.
good one, and you have a great time, and you're like, yeah, let's do it again, and then it's just toxic shit.
Yeah. I mean, like, when I played a lot of Overwatch, it was always fun, because you'd find occasional pugs, and it's like, this guy is level, like, 1, and has very few hours in the game. It's like, do you want help? We can help you. We've been playing a lot of this. Would you like some assistance? And most of them are like, yes, please. It's like, awesome. You're playing this character. Try doing these things. And then it's like, oh, that worked. Fucking A, it did, because that's how it's meant to be done. But then you get some other guy comes in, it's like, you're doing it wrong! Should charge in! It's like, don't teach them your bad habits, because you're shit at the game.
Yeah.
Just, I hate that mentality.
It's real bad.
Yeah, I mean, like,
there's an option in those kinds of games that I'm having a bad time.
The fun
I
thing,
switch sides, and then friendly fire gets turned on.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, that'd be great. But, like, even going back to CSGO to a point, there used to be free weekends for Overwatch before they became completely free to play. And it was hilarious, because that's when all the fucking snipers from CSGO would come in and just play Widow. And they would just... You walk around the corner and... dead. It's like, how are they this good? It's like, because they're used to playing CSGO, and now they have a free wall hack. Like, her ult is a wall hack.
Used to
that's
shooting
all it
pixels,
fucking
now
is.
they get
And
an
then that
outline.
can just ruin your day. Yeah, they know when you're coming around that corner, you have no chance. So there was no point in playing during that free weekend, because all you would do is get angry. It's like,
I've seen some of those fucking CS tournaments. They're like, an eighth of a pixel shows up, bam, headshot.
So,
that would have been so
what I normally get my
play.
game banned for, I'm allowed to do in this one? Motherfucker, you're dead.
Yeah. Like, fuck. And hell, like, even looking at the other alts in that game, it's like, Soldier 76, he just has an aimbot. That is entirely his power. But no, I hope CS2 is, like, just a completely new thing.
A complete
I
reset.
want to see that fall apart.
No idea. And again, this is sort of like leaky rumor shit. We don't know if it's actually happening, or someone's just stirring the pot.
If they're going to do that, they'd almost have to have
guaranteeing
an Intel marketplace for skins. Because that's a whole heap of cash they're missing out on currently.
Yeah.
Like, if they can limit that so it can only be traded to within their own store, that's a lot of fucking big money websites that are fucking out on their ass, unless they can figure out a way around it. Or that game will die on its ass and the original will stay.
Sure. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. So, a lot of people talk about, they're missing out. Yes, they are, but those external websites keep the game relevant. There was something I watched about that was talking about this sort of skin type economies, where because new skins are always coming out and you never know which one's going to be big, you have to keep playing the game to make sure you get them, so that if you get the one that, like, that's the money skin, you have it already. Yeah. So it keeps the player base ticking over because they're trying to play the external market. If you regiment and formalize the internal market, you can stabilize it, but then it can stabilize it in a way where it's not so bang and bust. There's no more of a gamble on, so it can decrease the desire for people to go for those new skins and see what goes off.
And that's what happened with TF2. They made it internal more than anything, and like, there was an avenue for it, and the same thing. Everyone just didn't care anymore. So, yeah,
I don't think I've played TF2 since like the old uni days. Like, I enjoyed it back then, but
we played a lot during those days.
I know it's definitely not installed now, and I don't think I've installed it since then. But I hardly even knew that it was still had a big community. Pretty much once they stopped dropping those
apparently
fucking funny trailers and character fucking things, I stopped playing.
That's so good.
Yeah, we never even got the full like retinue for them. It's like, well, we make one for all of them, and then we got like the Pyro was the last one, and then the rest are like,
who'd we
might do them. Like, I think there was a couple that we haven't got.
Pretty sure they did them all.
I don't think we have a. Wait, I'm just trying to think. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched them all.
They did Soldier, Demoman, Pyro, Spy, Scout, Heavy.
No, I did all of them. No, I'm wrong.
Doctor, NG.
I think Pyro was the last one. I'm not too sure.
I think Pyro was the last one. Well, we found out that he sees the world as rainbows.
Yeah. I think like the thing to me was like, I keep getting confused on how many classes there are since they started bringing in items that meant that a Pyro could be a soldier.
That just sounds annoying.
It was weird. Well, the great thing with TF2 when it first came out was you could tell what was coming for you based on the silhouette, right? But then it's
when they initially made it, I remember watching the because that game came out with the orange box, and that was when they first started doing those big dev diary things in Valve's games. And I remember watching the one for Team Fortress, and they made a big deal about how they worked really hard to create instantly identifiable silhouettes.
Can I just, on a side note, how fucking good a deal was the orange box?
Just kind of ruined it.
That fucking Valve
it was pretty
there's
fucking
never been
good.
anything
Half-Life
since.
Episode 2, Portal.
Like, holy fuck, like, that was the best money you could spend in gaming at the time. Really, there is, and I don't think there's been anything since that's had that same.
I think that was actually,
to me, that was the first bundle I bought. Like,
bucks.
before Humble Bundle, before anything else, that was the first holy fuck bundle. But
yeah, and it was great. Everything in it was a banger.
And everyone bought it for Episode 2, and then got TF2 and the excellent Portal as bonus extras.
I love the fact that Portal was only ever designed as an extra bonus, and it was fucking amazing.
I still love that we played the game that made Portal at uni.
Yeah.
It was just uploaded to the share drive for all the students at our university. I remember playing it and being like, this is cool, I wish someone would make a game out of this. Lo and behold, apparently Valve had seen it and been like, we are doing this. Which I think is hilarious. I sound like such a hipster. I played the game that made Portal. I'm better than you.
Oh, no. The one thing that differentiates us from hipsters is we are in no way better than you. We are just three Muppets sitting in rooms. We are horrible people.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like the fact that we were playing Minecraft back when it was like literally just different colored blocks.
You could only play in a browser. There was no offline client.
Yeah. There was no way to play it offline. Like, we were legacied into Minecraft because we were that kind of weird nerd at a gaming university, and one of our IT guys found it. Hey, you like Lego? Play this game. Like, I do like Lego. This is great. And then I lost like 5 years of my life. So,
or like the opening orientation at uni, you turn there. Right, if you've got a WoW account, suspend it. Hold it off for a period of time, or you will fail. And then after the first term, the WoW dropouts.
I think Yeah.
Yeah.
So many people chose WoW over university. But it was like that starting point, like that first lecture we all had, like, right, if you have a WoW subscription, cancel it. This is called deodorant. You're going to have to start wearing it. It was like, it was a strange time. Nerd
uni man, that was a trip.
But at least, like, we're all surrounded by people who had almost the identical fucking interests. Like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Coming from like a country town where like they used to hunt nerds for fun, to actually find other nerds was pretty good.
I mean, like,
So that was entertaining.
I didn't have that much trouble finding people that I could associate with at the schools I went to, but like, it was like a sheer density thing. Like, how are this? Like, I have niche interests, and everyone has them. What
You
the
all know
fuck?
what I'm talking about.
Well, like I always found it weird. Like we come from interesting backgrounds. Like we were like one of the 3 drinkers in like most of the uni. We had to teach most people how to drink at our uni.
Or just drag them out. They figured it
But
out.
the whole thing of what was it? Oh yeah, everyone. You could always tell the first like trimester, because we worked in trimesters. There was always a few dropouts of people who just couldn't deal with it because they were no longer the big fish in the small pond. They were used to being the nerd authority where they came from. And then suddenly they're surrounded by other nerds of equal or more
knowledge, yes.
height to it. And it's like, shit. Yeah. It's like, oh, this guy knows more than me. And in most cases, it'd be like, new friend. But for some people, it's like, no, I have to be the big fish. And they go back to their small pond.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
It's a bizarre kind
Nerd
of like
unis are
social thing.
Very much so. But holy fuck, they were a lot of fun.
It's amazing. You put a bunch of antisocial people into a university and see what happens. So what happens if we put all the antisocial losers in one room? Lord of the Flies? Excellent.
I would watch
Done.
that show.
I still love that university.
Yeah.
That university tried to save money by having students paint one of the floors back to neutral colors. Didn't give us the kind of resources we needed to do it, and ended up having to rip up and redo all of the carpet because we got paints on everything.
Yeah. It cost them more than it would have cost to get a painter in.
So dumb. Because they got us to paint, like, they paid us to fucking slave rates, but whatever, we didn't care. It was
I think we lost you for a second there.
So they got us in to paint these, like, it was annoying because it was the only level of the university with any color, and we all liked it.
Yeah.
They were like, no, it's got to be neutral white. Okay, sure, we'll pay us, we'll paint it. They gave us cloth drop sheets, and we're like, it's going to leak through the sheet. What are you doing? Nah, it's fine.
No,
fine.
it's fine.
And then after we'd finished it, we're like, cool, there you go, your walls are painted. Your carpet's fucked, but your floors are painted.
We may as well paint the carpet too.
It was so dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. It was amazing. The guys who ran the art university did not seem to understand how paint works.
So they did all use fucking
so
digital paint.
Like, man, I didn't care. I got paid.
There's very little drying time on digital
Yeah,
paint.
that's true. Digital paint doesn't go through cloth. It all makes sense now. But speaking of horror stories, the Ford thing. So I think Seth was mentioning before we jumped into
so
the
essentially
podcast,
what's
we need to
happening
talk about that
is
dystopia in
through
the future for a second.
Patent. Yeah, essentially, they put through a patent to make the self-driving car drive itself back to the depot if you ever miss a payment. So,
what if this just freaks out one day? Like, is this like a server issue? It's like, this person hasn't paid.
Well, there's
they paid
already
like 2
been
weeks
a
ago.
lot of reported
Well, I mean,
cases
your
of people
colleagues
that have bought vehicles from second-hand dealerships, gotten it home, and then the repo company's come and taken it, or they've the dealerships put an interlock on it that if they miss a payment, they can lock the vehicle down. There's already been a lot of instances where the vehicle's been locked down after they've paid it off, or the repo company's come and taken it because the fucking dealership fucked up. So if your car can just fuck off one day, you don't know if it's been stolen or repoed.
Well, the thing is, how long until someone cracks the coding for that? Because I'm guaranteeing Ford's not going to put as much effort into this as they say they are. And how long until someone just starts going, I need a car, I'm going to steal this dickhead's car because he's got a auto repo thing on it, and that's mine now. I just set the repo destination to where I want to go.
But by the same, like self-driving cars are
equivalent
still in their relative fucking infancy. Like, they still fuck up a lot. If that vehicle runs into another car on the way back to the dealership, who's at fault there? And can you set your own fucking destinations on it? Like, can you drive it to the pub, have an absolute gutful, fall into the back seat, they take me home, and it repos itself to home?
So where are we? Home, Dave. This is Ford. Yes.
The thing I see with it is, like, what happens, like what counts as missed payment? Did I get to payment day and I just didn't pay and there's no grace period, and like I get up in the morning to go to work being like, oh man, I gotta wait till pay clears today and I can pay for my car. Where's my car?
Or like, I paid it on the day it's due, and
what if it's a factor of like an automatic deposit? Yeah. Or like an auto deposit, you're like $1 short in the account or something you specify to come from. And it's like, oh, well, okay, it's bounced back. I'll pay it now. I'll put the extra $1 in and be done. Or does it just go like, nah? What if you're like halfway through driving the car? What if you're like driving to work and then suddenly it turns down a random side street? It's like, am I being kidnapped? Is this how I die? Like, you turn up, it's like, oh shit, we've got a hostage. Would that be considered like kidnapping or taking a hostage?
Like, or worst case scenario,
like, how do we deal with that?
You've got a partner who's pregnant, you're on the way to the fucking hospital. It's nope, repoed now. I guess it's being delivered by Ford. Fuck, who knows?
Oh. No. Worst case scenario, you've put the kids into, to get ready to go out, so like a young child in a booster seat or something, and you've just closed the door to go around, and suddenly it just starts reversing out the driveway.
So
taking your child with
it. Car dealership say, they are your problem now. You're paying for it. Goodbye. And just hanging the fuck up and moving out.
Good. Come on, it's Ford. That kid will arrive. They'll hand her the spanner and the wrench. Like, right, on the fucking assembly line.
That's how they get employees. They're not hired. They're just abducted self-driving car victims.
That's their business model. This is their long-term plan. It's all makes sense.
A Ford vehicle upon repossession is now property of Ford.
Guaranteed that'll be in there somewhere, because there'll be something like a clause to like try and pay the car back. So like a bit like debt reconciliation.
Yeah.
So they'll be saying, oh, if we find anything in your car that's worth money, we'll put it
if they left the child in
paying
there,
off the debt.
and then they claim the
just
child,
find a kid,
the
like,
parent have to pay child support to Ford.
Ooh,
subscription based
right
right
there.
there.
Sell the organs for maximum profit.
No, that requires a lot of time, because you can't sell the organs until they're right.
No, exactly. That's
so
why
you
they've
have
got to pay
wait,
child support right up until they're right for the picking. And they get work out of them. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was that thing all those like right-wingers thought kids had adrenochrome?
Oh, yeah, the thing that apparently kept a bunch of celebrities immortal for a while.
Yeah.
I remember Pizzagate was tied in with it somehow.
Well, that was,
I don't... Look, man.
South Park did an episode on that where they did,
something to do with stem cells. Yeah.
Fucking stem cells. Yeah.
Christopher Reeves just eating babies.
Cracking fetuses like fucking cancer drink and then drinking the stem cells.
The golden age of South Park.
Yeah, anyway. Ford repos itself.
Yeah, that's a fun dystopian future that we are rolling towards.
Yeah.
We went down a very dark tangent on that one, geez.
Well, I mean, like, I know we brought it up, but like car accidents are already a massive thing. And while if you could get every car to be self-driving, it could theoretically be good, because the idea is you would get them all to talk to each other.
Have to be networked,
and you would have like maximum throughput on red lights and all that kind of shit. No dealer is sharing their fucking network.
Exactly. Like, they would only communicate with their own car. Like, Ford cars would talk to Ford.
Like, you're not going to get fucking Ford talking to Nissans, talking to GMs, talking to anything else. It's like, no, you're on the Ford network now. They all want their own little walled garden. So,
yeah. And even more fun is the fact that with the AI driving the car, they have to teach it, like, morals and values to a point of, if it sees... Because someone's had to walk through an AI kind of thing for it. If this is coming to a point where, let's say there's a crossing, and the car's going too fast to stop, and there are two people crossing the road, one is a child and one is an elderly person, which person does it?
It drifts and takes them both.
Because it has to hit one of them.
Maximum points.
Go big or go home. That's the Ford motto there.
So this is the big question. You've got all this stuff. You've got all these things. Every time people talk about self-driving cars, it's generally with something like a small sedan, like a small Tesla or something like that. Eventually this is going to be put in a fucking SUV.
Not even an SUV. It's fucking an 18-wheeler. You get fucking semi-trucks with this shit. So
yeah. Fuck it. A full-on road train with this shit would be terrifying.
Okay, so yes, but a lot of those things are less likely to be around you. Not saying they're not, but SUVs are fucking everywhere.
They're only getting worse.
And they're already massively likely to kill other people or their own children. You chuck an AI in that doesn't quite get it. It's just gonna they're gonna murder people.
A semi truck with a B double on the back of it, going between Sydney and Brisbane, and it hits a glitch halfway along that fucking highway. There's a lot of people on that fucking road.
Oh,
I know. Yeah, I'm just saying that that's less likely to be something you're going to be involved in.
As you say, in the middle of Brisbane or in the middle of Sydney, there are fucking SUVs everywhere. They're everywhere they don't fucking need to be.
Yeah.
Like, a little hatchback is all you fucking need in the city.
I mean, they're killing people in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst thing, though, I find is you're right that, the 18 wheels and shit are something that's not going to be around as often. But I'm guaranteeing some pencil pusher is going to use that as a reason to cut costs on the AI programming.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Like, there's not going to be as many people around, therefore we can cut costs, we can cut corners. Like, no. These things are terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, if a sleep-deprived trucker can do it, an AI can do it, sure. Like, no.
Also, fucking, not even that, buses. Like, public transport buses. You can have fucking near 40 people in those, and they're driving a set route. That'll be easy for the AI. It doesn't matter, there's other dickheads on the road. Like, it won't take long for something that to fuck up.
I mean,
like,
that's
in most cases...
You'd want to
invariably it comes down to the
bus loop.
You'd want to limit it to a bus lane, but how many fuckwits drive in a bus lane?
No, not a bus lane, a bus loop. Where the only thing on it is a bus.
Then that's a whole different set of infrastructure.
But again, I have seen people on the Brisbane bus loop. Yeah. And also, like, the weird thing is, the AI could be top-notch, but there are still people out there, and we are unpredictable and fucking stupid. Like, hell, I've nearly turned down... Yeah. Like, I've nearly turned onto certain, like, off, limits roads before and realized, shit, I'm in the wrong place. And then you have to try and weasel your way out of it. But most people will just power through at that point. It's like, well, I'm already in the bus loop, might as well go. It's like, no.
Can't stop that.
There's no way to account for human interaction with an AI. Essentially, everything on the road would have to be an AI for that system to work as flawlessly as they want it to.
Yeah, pretty much.
The second you throw one guy in a car, everything is chaos. Because they can't confirm.
Every single person I know who drives a car understands the adage, don't drive courteously, drive predictably. And yet there are so many unpredictable motherfuckers on goddamn
people that hit the brakes on a fucking roundabout.
I'm really glad I learned driving Mackay. Oh my god, I've seen that. That is I had one, like, I was driving around today, and there was a bunch of roundabouts, and one of them was, like, he started beeping at me to go. It's like, mate, you're on the right, you have right of way, just fucking go. Well, which one? I'm like, bugger it. I'm just going to go now, because I'm doing hold up traffic. And then the second I gone, fuck it, I'll drive, he's realised, oh, wait, no, I can go. So he's put his fucking foot down. Just,
my hometown is in Griffith, designed by Walter Burley Griffin, the same bloke who designed Canberra. And he designed everything around fucking circles. So we've got roundabouts everywhere. And, like, so I grew up driving around them. And holy fuck, the amount of people that don't know how to use the fucking things. They've only been using them their whole friggin' life, but god damn. Like, blinker in, blinker out. It's not fucking hard.
I swear to God, my hometown is Mackay, and someone on the council had a massive hard-on for roundabouts. I swear to fucking God. Everything's a roundabout. It doesn't need to be, but it's like, we'll just put a roundabout there. But then they would plant trees on them, or like really tall bushes, so you can't see anything coming. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're just gambling now. Let's see if I die today. But I'm glad I learned to drive in Mackay, because I swear to God, it's like playing dodge from cars with actual cars and adults who just don't care. Because it was a mining town, people would just ram mining cars and get them to pay for their insurance. I want a new car. Get in front of a mining car, slam on the brakes. And then the mines put dash cams in, and that was a fun year. But, humanity are fucking done. Because I guarantee within a year of self-driving cars coming out, someone will get in front of one, deliberately slam on the brakes to crash the car into it, so they can then sue the company and get a new car.
Well, there's already like a whole heap of scams of people doing
hours
that
of hitting the road.
Medical fraud, like insurance fraud. Like that's sort of one of the big pushes for fucking having a dash cam.
Most cars now, I think they're wanting to build them in. Like, you just have a dash cam built into a new car.
Yeah,
like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, let's move off of this kind of depressing topic.
We were talking about dystopian futures for a while.
Do we want to continue wearing the tinfoil hats and go deeper?
How deep can we go?
So, it's book week.
We can go pyramid deep.
As deep as hell.
So, this month we checked out Fingerprints of the Gods. I've been bad and I didn't get through the book.
I got to about halfway through and I went from normal listening to double speed listening, so I don't blame you.
I zoned out a lot. Like, it's a strange thing. This guy has some very interesting views.
A lot of what he says is, we know it's at least this old. We don't know how actually old it is. It's like, Like, some of the shit in there is interesting to listen to.
The big thing for me is nothing.
But there's so much more that's inferred.
I always find it weird that he's like, Pythagorean theorem wasn't here. Yeah. That's the whole thing is like, math is really big and all that kind of stuff, and no one could have figured this out before this time frame without some ancient civilization giving it to them. It's like, no, Pythagorean theorem was found out by some guy going insane in his bed because he was bedridden for like 3 fucking months. There's no reason that an older generation could not have figured this out. Our brains haven't changed; it is just our understanding. So there is definitely, they could have figured this crap out easily.
A few points there that was like, this is actually pretty interesting. Like, the first eras of the Egyptians where they build like the Great Pyramids and like all these massive things, and then following eras, they're little more than mounds of sand and rock put together. There's no longer the great architectural building of it. But it's like, shit, did they just have inferior materials and they've degraded over time? Or did they not know how to do that? Or like there was some bits in there that was like, oh fuck, okay, that's
except then you look into it and it's like, it's because you were living through the twilight of their empire and they couldn't do such a decade long art project.
They had killed way more slaves making the previous ones.
And some of the kings that are in those like mound of sand tombs are kids. They didn't live long enough to make a pyramid.
They literally made sandcastles.
Yeah. Like... Pretty much. This is the practice pyramid.
Yeah.
Fuck, he died. Put him in it anyway.
But yeah,
it's
I don't know.
My problem, a big problem I had was like, so often he would set up a situation where he'd go like, there's a gap in time. And we're not sure what's in there. One, he misrepresents time all of the time. He says things are younger than they are, and it's very, very annoying. But he'll go, okay, so there's this time period we don't know what was in there. Advanced civilization, that's what was there.
Yeah.
What proof do you have?
That's his go-to.
We don't know what was there, so it must be this. That's not a fucking answer.
That's the thing, he never provides answers.
Yeah.
He just gives speculation and then rips on the Archaeological Society for doing the same. Like the Egyptian Society, he fucking hates. Like, he rips on them hard. To the point like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're just ignoring all of this evidence that I found. Like, A, that's not evidence, and B, they're not exactly speculating because their shit's at least based on physical evidence. One of the big things he talks about was the Sphinx and the place nearby being assigned to a specific pharaoh. I can't remember who it actually is. But he's like, oh no, they just assumed that because there were statues of him nearby made at a later date. It's like, A, you haven't confirmed they've made it at a later date. No one's been able to confirm that. And B, I don't know what you're talking about in regards to this, because it mentions a couple of times in text that he restored it or did some other stuff. It's like, I don't know where you're coming from with this. And then there was weird shit with the Sphinx.
Like he does is he's talking about maps. Because he's trying to point out that there's no way we could... Like, we only recently know what Antarctica looks like under the ice. There's all these ancient maps that tell you what it is, and it has to have been made from some ancient civilization because these maps come from Constantinople. That's a fucking city, you idiot! In an empire!
Yeah.
That's
with
not
slaves,
a
they can throw it a problem.
But I think he's more...
Like,
I think there he's more saying, like,
forgotten.
at the time of that empire, it was under ice, so it had to have been done from an earlier point where there was no ice, I assume.
No. He points out in that section that there was no empire to make the map. It just comes from Constantinople.
Yeah. It was a weird fucking thing. Like,
it's just like,
I swear...
How do you have this dissidence in 2 lines?
The weirdest thing for me was, like, he talks about certain things like they're somehow so bulletproof. Like, at one point, it's like, oh, they brought in a facial recognition guy from the LAPD to do things against this ancient pharaoh and the Sphinx face to prove it wasn't his face. And, it proved these 100 points that it wasn't. Like, A, they are stylized mediums. No. He didn't look like that. B, half the statues look different. Like, they don't look like him. Like, because, like, they've changed wildly from whoever was carving them. And C, they're pretty sure the Sphinx had a lion face. Yeah. The Sphinx, they're pretty sure, had a lion face, which is just corroded to the point where it looks semi-human. Like, they don't think it used to be a human face.
Humans are pretty predisposed to look for faces.
Yeah. There's an entire thing for it.
There's a reason you could see Jeebus in a piece of toast.
This guy, I swear, forgot slaves were a thing.
So,
yeah.
Or a
door. Yeah.
I always hate anytime someone talks about Egypt and say, oh no, the pyramids could only be done by, the aliens or some advanced race. It's like, no, if you have enough slaves and you do not care about human life, you can get
I am
anything
sort of glad
done.
in this whole thing he doesn't just straight out go, it's aliens.
Such a strange thing.
Because so many other things are a cop-out of aliens. He may as
for
a lot of it, like for the technology they'd need to have to do all this.
You swap the word alien in it.
Yeah.
It's not alien, it's Atlantean.
You get any book from, like, Zachariah Sitchin, and he's the big guy for the Ancient Aliens thing, if you don't know. And you just did a copy replace for aliens with ancient civilizations, and you'd get the same answer as this guy.
It is the same fucking writing, I swear. But It's that and the whole thing of he gets very hung up in the very first few chapters about stonework. And it's like, oh no, these I couldn't even put paper through in between the stones. Like, yeah, because that's how it's meant to work. The pressure keeps them there, so nothing can get between it. Like, if your only medium to build things out of is stone and
get
clay,
good with stone and clay,
then your people are going to get very fucking good. Yeah. And it's like, oh no, people can't do this now. It's like, it's not that they can't do it now. It's that we've lost those abilities because we didn't need them anymore, and they became lax in society. Yeah. It's like, oh, we can do things better now. It's like, yeah, because we found better tech for it. These guys were masters at their craft, and the pyramids took a long fucking time to build.
Yeah, people always seem to imply they were done in like a year. No, they were not.
Not at all.
These are like
even at one point he mentions, like, oh, it looks like... And so the whole thing's, you can definitely see where it was done with, like, bigger bricks and then smaller bricks. And why would they have done this? And it's like, because smaller bricks are easier to transport. That's your answer right there. Like, there doesn't need to be a deeper meaning to it. Bureaucracy can be just as good of an explanation.
They got a good deal on large bricks.
Like, you know the old saying, if you hear hoofbeats, you don't think of a zebra. Yeah. But like the old adage of like, if you hear hoofbeats, don't automatically assume it's a zebra. This guy assumes it's a fucking Pegasus. Like, I don't understand where he's coming from. See, I tried. I definitely did.
The thing that's perplexing about these guys, all these guys, anyone who's doing these ancient civilization, ancient aliens, they're all looking for these like gaps in history. Now, the thing one of the things you need to know about me, in my day job, I'm a forky. I drive a forklift a lot. We recently got a new forklift, and I don't know if you guys... have you guys
drive one every day.
Very briefly.
You know how, like, all the cab faces the forks? For some God only knows reason, the new forklift they've got me rotates the cab 90 degrees, so you look into the side.
That's just weird.
Okay. It is... massively awkward to drive. I hate this thing. And if there has ever been proof that there is some other race or aliens on this fucking planet, it's that this forklift exists. Because no fucking human would want this.
No.
And these guys, we're going to go find gaps in history, not point to the machinery that's clearly not designed for a person. I'm trying to figure out
the fuck that actually works. Yeah. Like, is it a standing cab or a sitting cab?
Oh, that is the dumbest thing.
Literally.
That's even dumber.
Just take a normal forklift where, like, you know, everything's orientated with the forks, turn it 90 degrees. So you're looking out the side.
That is so dumb. Who thought this
was gets dumber. It gets dumber, if you can believe it.
How?
You know how, like, when you go backwards, your controls reverse?
Wait. Sorry, say it again. I lost you for a second, eh? I lost you for a second. Say it again.
We lost you for a second.
Okay. So, you know how in a normal car... when you reverse, your controls reverse.
Yeah.
So on this, which direction do you think would be forward as far as the controls are?
The way you're looking?
No, that's backwards.
Okay.
Forward is looking out away from the forks. So when you're trying to move with the load on the forks, you're doing everything backwards.
Like, where I use a forklift
Who thought this was a good idea?
I'm not
have they ever used a forklift?
There's one other dumb thing it has. Most forklifts, at least that I've used, if you turn the wheel far enough, it locks. That's maximum turn angle.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't lock. It keeps going and puts you into reverse or forward, whatever you weren't doing.
That's dangerous.
You keep spinning it. It doesn't lock at maximum turn angle.
So there's a catch point.
Yeah, it is!
Yeah. That would be like, and keep going, and suddenly, other direction. Fuck me. Who thought that was smart?
Particularly with, like, pallet racks.
Oh my
Holy
God.
fuck, they're easy to bring down. All it takes is to knock one and the whole fucking thing will go.
Oh,
but
they are.
Like, in my job driving a fork, we've normally got portable tanks. They hold anywhere up to, I think it's our biggest one's 12,000 litres. And they're quite wide and you can't see over them. Your entire forward view is blocked. So you have to drive backwards. So you got to sit in the seat, turn backwards and drive backwards.
Yeah.
the way a forklift normally fucking works. The way they teach you to drive a fucking forklift.
Yeah.
Sitting sideways of that is just fucking dumb. Like, holy, like, it's bad enough getting some people to learn to drive a forklift
really
where they suddenly have to realize that it turns from the back.
I'm not getting a new one. This is what I got to deal with.
Holy shit. I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around how that fucking works. But I'll tell you what it isn't. Aliens or ancient civilizations. Hey.
You know what? You know how like a forklift tends to pivot around the front two wheels?
Yeah.
The pivot thing on this thing is... Yeah, the pivot on this is under my ass.
Oh.
It's not in front where every other forklift is. It's under my butt. It's horrible. I hate it.
This was
like
clearly made for some alien species. Like,
it has to be. Like, come on, where's the book being like, I got proof of this fucking forklift?
It's not made of stone.
Maybe I should write a book, become one of these guys, make a million.
We'll have to write that book. Yeah. Well, metal's just really compressed stone.
Talk to Toph about that. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God.
Metal's just pure stone.
Yeah. But, like, the entire reason that we were keen to watch... Oh, yeah. The reason we were keen to watch this...
Train wreck of a book.
Listen to this book. Was this guy's got a debate. Oh, yeah. There's a debate coming for this guy where he's going to talk to actual archaeologists.
In September, it's going to be...
this is not going to be a debate. It's going to be
it's going to be a live-streamed debate on the Joe Rogan show, which is like, I couldn't give a fuck about Joe Rogan, but I just want to see this fucking debate. So he's meant to have the head of archaeology from some university in America who's taken up the mantle against Graham Hancock, and they're going to sit down and have a debate live. And that was the sole reason for this.
The problem is, this is going to turn out like, was it Bill Nye versus that fucking... Who's that creationist from Australia? The guy who's the Creationist Museum. One of our biggest shames here. He debated Bill Nye about creationism and creation science. And it was horrible, because Bill Nye is like, here are some facts. And then this guy's like,
I believe... So, no.
You're ignoring everything. This isn't a debate. Well, that's the thing. Like, this book reads more like a religious text than it does a scientific thing. Yeah. It's like, I believe that this happened. Like, this is not religion. You are meant to be basing everything on fact. I get archaeology is hard because you have to speculate and you have to try and fill in those gaps. But you can't immediately jump to ancient civilization did it, or, like, aliens. It doesn't fit. You're trying to put a square thing into a round hole. It might fit if you force it enough. But
through
the
whole thing, he goes through, like, these ancient civilizations have all got a similar thing of a white bloke with a beard turns up and makes them all civilized.
Snakes was the big thing before.
Like, in so many of these fucking ancient civilizations, they've all got a very similar myth of this person. Except for South America, where he turns up and then he gets promptly booted out from the cannibals and human sacrifice people. And this appears on every major continent. It doesn't appear on Australia. Not in the Dreamtime stories I've heard. So like, we're a fairly large landmass, and
he mentions Australia at one point because like, their stories of the dead had pale figures. Like, the reason being, what happens to a dead body when like someone's dead? Yeah, they get pale. Of course, people associate ghosts with pale because that's what happens to the body.
Like, a lot of it is like, this is a bit of a fucking stretch. And he doesn't do redactions, he writes new books. So his next one is, I think, Magicians of the Gods?
Yeah. That was the big thing.
So, this one came out in 2016, Magicians of the Gods.
Getting people to buy this fucking book is a magic trick.
I don't think the only reason we chose this one is because it was free.
If I would not. We had to have paid for it. I wouldn't have submitted it to this. Magicians of the Gods was 2015. That first book was, when was it? 2009. Yeah, something like that.
So we can expect a new book right before he goes for this debate, so he can try and cover his tracks.
So,
it's like, I would love for there to have been some kind of ancient civilization, or I would love for aliens to like be a thing. But I want proof before I start.
Yeah, straight out. You want to say, "Here's the proof. Here is it. Here it is. Here's an alien standing right here. He just got off that flying spaceship. Enjoy."
Yeah. This is Kev. He drove a long way to be here, so everyone be polite.
Can't.
Oh, it'd be great. Guaranteed.
Yes.
That's if they landed in Australia.
I can just imagine if, like, an alien species did land now. Like, the millennial generation is like, we're here to take over everything. You're all going to be our slaves. Like, you mean we have guaranteed healthcare and a job and food and a place to live? Fucking done. That way to the rich. Please let us eat them on the way. We're okay. Just... Oh.
No. Another planet of late-stage capitalism.
Lands, they crawl out and all you hear is ack, ack. And they're like, oh, well, here we go.
Well, we tried. Fuck.
You know, they actually did two very good novels for that series.
Yeah.
They're very different, too. One of them is about the aliens from Mars fighting the Mongols, and the other one's about a death squad fighting a biker gang in a museum.
Nice. I mean, the Mongols works because they have Mongolian throat singing, which would have done the same thing as the yodeling would made their heads explode.
Yeah. I'm not kidding. I have the two novels.
Nice.
They actually are amazing. A thing. I'm not talking out my ass. I know you can't see them because this is an audio thing, but trust me, I am holding two.
I can see them.
Books.
They exist. The we all believe you, Seth.
Yeah. That's because we're figments of Seth's imagination. He's just in a room right now.
Anyway, we've
all on his own.
Fingerprints of the Gods. If you can get it for free and you want to laugh at something that's just fucking weird, maybe listen to the first chapter and never touch it again. But yeah, just to get a feel for what we just put ourselves through.
Only because it's free, and if you want to just expand your thought process in some way of just looking at things critically, as opposed to
crims or acid that listen to this, holy fuck, it'll be like, what is going on?
If nothing else, this got me back interested in Egyptology and looking at that kind of stuff. Like, I do love that old kind of stuff, like mythology and where it comes from, and the kernels of truth that it holds. But this guy went in a very different direction to what I normally deal with. He went for a whole fucking bag of
popcorn.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I believe Swoosh has our next book.
I do indeed. I am just bringing up the details for said book. So this one is The Land of the Undying Lord. So we'll bring up the summary. So, monsters and beasts roamed the earth and were slain by soldiers and adventurers who were, in turn, killed by stronger threats. Heroes and villains created new epics and were forgotten when their successors appeared. This was the way of the infinite world. Summoned into this chaotic place, a young boy with no name and no past must learn to survive. Bonded to a master who doesn't care whether he lives or dies, he must become stronger. The question is, how? So, it sounds
we might be touching back on the lit RPG space.
Lit RPG-ish, but at the same time, this guy doesn't seem to have a background.
We're back in the lit RPG space.
It is.
We know it's a safe place.
Territory. And I'm glad it's a series that I haven't listened to, so yay.
Yeah, we know what we're dealing with. Yeah,
fucking oath.
That's the hard part, finding what they haven't listened to yet.
We're chewing through
but
these.
This one, it seems a bit more... Like, I'm guaranteeing the twist in this book is, surprise, he comes from Earth. But it sounds like he doesn't have a memory of some kind, so it could just be literally a homunculus has been created by a random wizard who's a dick. Like,
I think it'd be funny if it was like
I'm keen to see how
an amalgamation of all the evil in the world. Hello, human.
I mixed all the most deadly animals together to see what would happen. It's just a person. Damn it.
Why does all evil gravitate toward evolutionary being?
Humans or crabs?
Yeah.
Or humans with crabs.
I was
Instead
going to
of a
try and
crab.
find something sci-fi, but yeah, I was going.
Actually,
Yes,
the
I was gonna try and find
evolving
a
into a
sci-fi
crab
movie.
thing is actually
Yeah.
very narrow. There's not very many
Yeah.
things that are capable of doing
But it has happened several times.
Specific things will gravitate towards crab.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has. It definitely has.
Yeah. But I was going to try and look for something more sci-fi based, but then I got distracted by shiny things, so... this one
I'm
was
here
already
and I
in
got to
my
set up
wish list.
something sci-fi so we can get out of the fantasy worlds.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. We do need to jump out of the fantasy. We just dealt with some very high fantasy in the last book. But yeah.
I'm sure I can find something. I got a lot of sci-fi books in my
Excellent.
to-read pile. All right, so this month we'll be doing The Land of the Undying Lord. We'll get that updated on the Discord and the Facebooks with the linky if you'd like to go by. We hope you'll join us.
Yeah.
Although it is part of the Audible Plus catalog, so if you've got
So
an
you
Audible
can listen along for
subscription,
free, provided you've already paid you at least $14.
Yay!
Look,
Yeah,
man, to
we
get
make
those
no
discounts
guarantee to
on
this being
purchases,
good.
You
I'll
fucking
take it.
oath. Though, like, currently Audible's
Yeah.
got a thing for every
Cool.
5 credits you
So,
spend, you get $20 back.
we've just
And I've got $80 out of that so far. I listen to a lot of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well on that one.
we're not the.
if
the
we
demo
ever get a
that's supposed
sponsor,
to
I'm
do that.
guaranteeing it'll be Audible.
Maybe one day. Maybe we'll get lucky and this book club will be a sponsor.
We can try.
Anyway, we've
For now, we'll just keep plugging their product for free.
Because I will chew through your shit. Or 3 credits a week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're not giving us cash. They're just
credits.
like, here, have credits.
But
We just gave you a bunch of credits again. Like, thank you.
But yeah, we're out past our hour, so I think we can wrap things up for this week. So have a good one, y'all.
see ya.
Enjoy.